I'm absolutely shattered. I just feel tired all the time. I've received my letter from the local government ombudsman, but I haven't. I've read the first few lines. Well, I really don't care. Yeah, so I'm going to be very careful with what I say and be careful not to mention any names of any people. But I just want to go to sleep right now. I just want to go back. Yeah, to anyone watching this, you might want to read the description of my last live stream because I'm being deadly serious. Oh yes, I'm being monitored right now. I'm being monitored. I always know when I'm being monitored. Someone goes on and goes off, and then not. It usually tends to happen. Yeah. I've had to put it. I had to put it down. I read it. I read the first few lines. No mention of any of what I've been through in the last 6 years. I've just read the first few lines and then I just put it down. I couldn't, and I got straight on the phone to the care coordinator. Nice lady. Again, I can't obviously. I will keep all names of these people anonymous. And then I got on the phone to the doctor's surgery. So I was on the phone for a couple of hours in total. Yeah, about a couple of hours. But there's just too much to say. There's too much to say. They want to. I received this letter on this. It's dated the 17th of October, and I've only just opened it, and I just read the first few lines, and I just had to put it down. But they expect a response. It's the 21st of October, but also the fact that we are not able to consider the actions of the police, housing associations, hotel management, or any NHS services, blah, 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 blah. This has gone to the CEO, Robert Cottrell. Yet the past 6 years, they've fraudulently discharged housing duty to me, even though I'm on severe disability premium. And there's a person whose name I cannot mention because of the nutcases who watch my live streams, care of police abusing powers. And serious crimes against me, police abusing powers community, Tina Chave, Helen Janes, linked to Matt Taylor and Shelley Moat, and all those nutcases out there. Yeah, just read the description of my last live stream. Because Tina Chave from the Independent Advice Network keep mentioning them because that's what they don't want me to do. These frauds, these grifters, who said I shouldn't be in these places if I'm on severe disability. I'm on severe disability premium, which is what the food bank, the Trestle Trust, Illuminati Food Bank, helped get me on. But then they ignored the plight of survivors of the Saffron Facebook page before I was put in there. So there's Tina Chave saying you shouldn't be in these places. But I'm going to tell Tina, yeah, you don't think that Juliet exists? She's going to call me in a bit. My crucial lady witness friend. Because I've said 6 years ago, even if I was to get all the help in the world, even if Caroline Ansell, my local MP, was to give me all the help in the world, I'd still speak out. And then they put me through 6 years of torture, human trafficking, physical and mental abuse, psyops. You can call it whatever you like. Call a spade a spade. You know, it's social engineering, MK Ultra, music industry. Because that's what I was talking about a few live streams back. I'm being very careful with who I do and don't mention, though, because someone from Brighton Housing Trust, whose name, yes, I'll say it, Lorraine Blackwell, she is about saying, do you want Sherelle Clark gone, or do you want to move? I said, she needs to be kicked out. The accommodation I've been keeping away from for my safety, yes, Grace Hill, it is suitable. But the nutcases that you're putting in there are no different to the nutcases from police abusing powers. Yeah. I recorded my conversation with my care coordinator and the receptionist at my doctor's surgery just a little while ago. Two lovely ladies. You don't usually get that in Eastbourne. And I told them I'll be going out onto the street because my GP, just like the police, is on an oath. You signed oaths. You have oaths under common law. Cause no loss, harm, personal injury. But Dan from Police Abusing Powers doesn't think that the common law thing works. He doesn't believe in a creator. He thinks when you die, that's it. I'm afraid you're very much mistaken, sir, because common law is automatically given to us under the creator, and it applies to each and every one of you. Each and every one of you, and each and every one of you are solely responsible for yourselves. So you can do all this meditation bullshit that Tina Chave believes in. I only believe in myself. Meditate. Think of the self and no one else. You're still going to go on a path to self-destruction. That's yeah, you can do that new age bullshit. It's not going to get you anywhere. And may Abby Aqua forgive me for all the bad language I'm using. By the way, Shalom Shabbat. We've passed sunset, so it's Shalom Shabbat. Yes. And Heavenly Father Yahweh, please forgive me for all my bad language, but I've got to have this vent. So, yes, the local government and social care ombudsman. The first page, I said to Juliet, I just had to put it down. Can you imagine how I feel texting my lady witness saying that I feel tired, I'm drained, I'm not sleeping, I'm not seeing any sunshine. And forgive me, Juliet, because I've only got you, and with what you're going through with your treatment and everything, it never ceases to amaze me though. Tina J from the Independent Advice Network. Oh, she said it again. Do you think I might get an email? Another threat? A court threat? Basically, a threat with bad grammar. Already done on Dan's channel, which is phone in with your personal information. Just a minute. I have to be careful because my connection is being tampered with. It's always when I'm being monitored, right at the very start of this live stream. They tend to do that. But, you know, what Tina Chave has done is no different to what happened with Councillor Robin Maxted. So I'll just give you an example. I texted Robin Maxted a little while ago. This is what I texted him. Dear Councillor Robin Maxted, I would like to ask you how live streaming our conversation is a breach of GDPR. Sharing it, what's he got to hide? Stephen Holt's address and mobile number is published online. If you Google Councillor Stephen Holt, his full address where he lives and his mobile number is published on the internet for anyone to see. You have personally failed to stop and correct serious crimes and corruption of a vulnerable constituent, and I will speak out publicly. Because I've got a damning ward review recording. Months later, people not turning up for appointments, including a housing officer named John Robinson on the 13th of June. Then a month later, they disappeared John Alexander Patterson, who is linked to Matt Taylor and Helen Janes and that very brave whistleblower, Jeanette Archer. Oh, by the way, trolls, all you've done by attacking me is give Jeanette Archer more credibility. Do you see where I'm going with this? So even if Jeanette Archer was, let's just say for argument's sake, brave woman, me. It's quite interesting, you know, because do you remember in a few live streams back, I said about the Freemason, the Scorpio Freemason, who shoved his tongue in my mouth and told my mother he'd like to impregnate me? Well, he and the man who wrote this for me said I'm very close to the cusp, the Pisces Aries cusp, which funnily enough Jeanette Archer is on the cusp. Forgive me, I know I'm not supposed to talk about astrology, but yeah, I know that Jeanette Archer is, I think she's the 21st of March, so more than one person has said it to me, that you don't want to mess with someone born on the cusp. I mean the Pisces Aries cusp, you know, because that's where we get our confidence from, maybe. But I've gone off track here. I've gone off on a total tangent here. But I've got just too much to say. But Grace Hill, that obnoxious call handler who said, hung up on me. I recorded her hanging up on me a few months ago. She says I owe rent to the place that I've been keeping away from for my safety. So I basically said to the care coordinator, do pass on, I said, loads of things, X, Y, Z, but I also repeated the US always say, the reason why I keep repeating things, because we need to get programmed into people's heads. Repetition for emphasis. So they're doing everything that they can, like the missed calls. But I said, do tell her about Sherelle Clark and Dion Clark, mother and daughter, jailed for 5 years for and that they were doing the same on the Isle of Wight before being placed with me, and that I recorded them. I recorded them and the police and the neighbours and the Riverbourne house, which I was banned from going anywhere near, even though I visited someone in there. I visited, what's the name? I've got to be careful what I say. There's a man who lives in there at the Riverbourne house, that I met in the psychiatric unit. Of the victims of Sussex Partnership who jumped off Beachy Head where his brother jumped, was talking to that man, and he discharged himself to go and jump off Beachy Head when I went AWOL and was reported missing in the Herald, and I slept in a field near my mother's ashes. And it was that same year in the summer that someone who worked at a certain organisation, just a minute, my live streams are being tampered with, which is why when you see me, stream is being tampered with, my connection. This often happens. And that's why they try and edit what I'm saying. A certain someone who works at a certain organisation, and he was the one who told me about the local government ombudsman. He's the one who said to me to go for compensation because a lot of homeless people were being put in police cells. And I need to get that person recorded so I can catch them out, because in this letter, they've contradicted what this man from this housing homeless association told me. They've said, we are not able to consider the actions of the police. And I lay down because I am struggling to do basic things like look after myself, wash myself, clean myself, brush my teeth. And even with the Zopiclone, I can't fucking sleep. 3 hours, maybe. I had this prescribed to me by Dr. Caro, who talks himself up on the Lighthouse Practice website. He told me I was going off on a tangent. And I never got out that night to get the Zopiclone, because in the early hours I live streamed on my YouTube being attacked and blood on the door and the police doing nothing. But someone watched it live in the US and said, I thought the cops here were bad. They haven't done anything. I said, I know, as part of my evidence. But prior to being at Balmore Road, 6 years, fraudulent Section 184s, all the crimes committed against me. All those crimes committed against me. Yeah, you know who you are. Serious crimes against my human rights and each and every one of you solely responsible for yourselves, whether you've taken an oath or not. Hippocratic oath, police constable, Masonic, it's all the same thing. Doesn't matter who you're covering for. It's very simple. Cause no loss, harm, personal injury. My whole life has been gearing up to this. My whole existence. That's why I feel quite relaxed, because that's why I've survived things. You little cowards, you wouldn't last 2 minutes in my shoes. You'd be saying, oh, she's hurt my feelings. I've got a massive penis, but perhaps if I get myself covered in tattoos, I'll make myself feel like a man. Oh, she's upset my feelings. Quick, print her details in the Herald. She beat me. PC Austin, honestly, honest to goodness. Yes, I'm still getting over the scratch that you caused me. Yeah, I'm getting over the scratch. Too little. And I said to him, caused you when you beat me and grabbed me when I had already had my phone call terminated, and I'd already had a letter from the Professional Standards Department apologising for them terminating my calls, and they did it again. And they've done it again and again and again and again. I've recorded so many call handlers. The whole damn thing is full up. Not just my dictaphone. I've recorded it on and saying, well, I won't be terminating your call. And then she did it. And then she answered my 999 call when my partner was assaulting me before he was then arrested. So yes, the care coordinator is aware of my partner's actions because he said he'd go and get the keys cut when I was on the phone to her. You haven't heard from you, and wow, anyway, I won't even go there. But yeah, I've been doing all of this completely on my own, bar Juliet, of course. But isn't it interesting? I can't get into the property anyway. Grace Hill, despite all the overwhelming evidence of it being extremely dangerous. The dangerous criminals, the council meeting minutes. I mean, Darren, you mocked me because you mocked my words because I said, what was that all about, Darren? Failure to stop and correct. Do you want to sound like you will do? Oh, failure to stop and correct. And you assaulted me, and I left a voice message for Councillor Robin Maxted Councillor Robin Maxted, by the way, he lives in a nice part of Eastbourne. He said in Darren's flat, they can't release me with nowhere to. My YouTube channel, you guys have got my blood on your hands. You've all got my blood on your hands. You owe me so much compensation. I never even gave you a fee schedule. The CEO of Eastbourne Borough Council and the CFO, Hamira Javadi. The ward review recording. I was in Darren's flat when Robin Maxted said they can't release you with nowhere to go. Yes, we can. And they did. And I was arrested out of there. I thought you could. Hang on a minute. Emma and I, this lovely patient Emma and I, we were told by the police, because we were assaulted by patients in the psychiatric unit, there's nothing we can do because they're psychiatric patients. So why was I arrested out of there in hospital pajamas when I need injections? Because I put up a protest at being dragged in handcuffs? Cause no loss, harm, personal injury. A woman on severe disability premium, Tina Chave of the Independent Advice Network. Repetition for emphasis. Oh, you're going to threaten me with legal action. Oh, Tina Chave of the Independent Advice Network, 40 years of experience. Repetition for emphasis. I shouldn't be in these places. Sherelle Clark and Dion Clark, mother and daughter, jailed for. Sergeant Simmons told me to purchase this. I recorded Sherelle Clark, who was mentioned on the national news. It's online. I recorded it onto YouTube. I recorded it. That vile creature who's left a man too scared to leave his home, traumatized. Can you live with yourselves? Do you think I give a damn what they're saying on police abusing powers? Why are you even telling me? Are you pretending to be someone who isn't Dan or who isn't Tina? Or I couldn't care less. What was it? A 2-hour conversation on the 16th of October where they mentioned me? Why would I care? And what's the name of that troll? Is it a troll? Warrior Wales? Is it? Do you know this? A picture of someone with a dog? I don't care. Why are you telling me this? I don't care what they're saying. If I were you, and personal damages against me and incessant unknown calls ringing me in the early hours and those 3 mobile numbers and Helen Jane's and threatening me when they're part of the corruption. If I am squatting, tell them to pull their fucking finger out and stop being cowards. Seriously, why do you think I'm alone, or why do you think I don't like crumbs? The couple below me got me to come into their bedroom in my Garfield pajamas. They woke me at midnight. They woke me at midnight. Why? Because of that thing over there. That fan. You couldn't make it up. But when I had a floor heater in here, what about that? What about the buzzing from the floor heater? Why don't they just come up here and say, don't do this, don't do that, don't do side fan? And I'm here for my safety. My God. Oh, mother, you should have stayed at sea, honestly. But this is why I'm staying alive, because I've actually got a story to tell. I've actually got a history. My mother had a history. Do you know what? As a child, I said older mums are the had a history. She actually had a life. She met famous people when famous people were famous. Not these nobodies who get in with the Freemasons. Yeah, deal under the table. You're in, yeah. My mother actually met famous people when famous people were famous. She left school, worked at Woman's Magazine, met Jean Kelly. But you just, oh, you're part of that generation. God, I mean, the millennials are bad enough, but you lot, some of you are grandparents and you're behaving like you need nappies. You'll wet yourselves if so much someone says the wrong thing. Your grandparents, who can look up to you when you're, well, I think you're a joke. I find it's, I have to laugh about it, but come on. So anyway, basically, I'm just documenting. I'm having an event. I've been rabbiting on for just over 30 minutes now. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So basically, I'm due a lot of compensation. Not just the £12,000 of back severe disability pay that I spent on all those hotels and moving around in the street. Yeah, the lady who was attacked in the street trying to help me, that member of the public, who's actually been a support worker herself. I wanted to look after her dog for her, because in one of the hotels, it was a dog-friendly hotel. But because I'm struggling like I'm struggling now, I'm not jolly holidaying. We had a heat wave. I didn't have one day out on the beach, not one day. I haven't seen any daylight. I've been here squatting for my safety. I don't even know if I am squatting because I've had domestic emotional abuse. So you're just using Darren as a pawn. So Dan has the nerve to say, you see Darren as your saviour, don't you? With his Essex accent. No, I don't see Darren as my saviour. I mean, maybe maybe you get the minions you get to troll me see you as a cult leader, but no, Darren is not and never will be my saviour. I've got myself through this. I've always had faith. Darren strong. But you just wanted to feel good. You wanted to lie to someone who's vulnerable to make yourself feel good. You've done exactly what Caroline Stevens has done. Virtue signalling. Anyone can do that. There's no shortage of covert narcissists. Anyone can come out with that bollocks. I'm sick to speak my truth. Just as you should feel for those elderly people who've been mugged and the man who is too afraid to leave his home because of that silly little insignificant idiot and her mother who are mentioned in the national news. Last night, all of this though. No, he can cope with it. Just like his mother couldn't cope. No one's ever there when you need them, but they're always there to criticize you. And it's cowardly, cowardly. What would your mother and your grandparents think of you when people have died for your freedom? And repetition for emphasis. Freedoms that are now being taken away from us. Honestly, I wanted to work with, I was, when I did work experience with 2 and 3-year-olds, I loved it. When I was 17, I did work experience with 2 and 3-year-olds. When I was 14, I also did work experience at the Drusillas. I used to love going there when I was little. And do you know what? Never worked with animals and children. Been much easier than working with all you lot, you grifters, all you corrupt. For you, I really feel sorry for you. I really genuinely feel sorry for. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. The connection cut out again. I'm being monitored. But no, I genuinely feel sorry for you. It can't be easy being brainwashed. It can't be easy, but I just. Anyway, I think I better draw it to a close, really. I better draw it to a close. You got to help yourselves, okay? You got to help yourselves. But thankfully, the receptionist I spoke to and the care coordinator, because I really went. So they've got the general gist of that. But this is how it is. This is Agenda 2030, and it's been playing out for some time now. It's only 2022, but Agenda 20, not what the United Nations have put out there. I'm talking about Tavistock. But anyway, that's all I can say. It's up to you guys, but I cannot read the rest of this letter right now. I'm struggling at just a basic level. There isn't really anything. Just to finish, what I put in the description on that last live stream, that stands true. Yeah. But the locks have been changed anyway. So I don't have a new key to the property. The locks were changed in July of last year, 2021, when Sherelle Clark and Dion Clark, when we were all, and Lorraine Blackwell, who you idiots out there, yes, you tried to infiltrate that because I publicly recorded my phone call to Lorraine Blackwell, and they weren't doing anything about these police protected criminals, and she went on to mug the elderly. Anyway, because there'll always be someone new coming on or subscribing. I'm getting news every now and again. I'll get a new subscriber. It could be someone pretending to be someone else, because that's what happens. I'm learning. That's what trolls do. But you never know. And you just got to keep repeating. That's why the presidents of the US say repetition for emphasis. Over and out. Shalom Shabbat.